So we're back with Therapy Corner. Joan and I were thinking about, okay, what do we name this? And she's like something funny or something serious, and I was like, I don't know. And then I just thought Therapy Corner because we are in a corner. Um, so we made the first video, and we were just sitting here just chatting, and we were talking about kind of what boundaries, or I was telling her about rent a friend. That I remember a therapist telling me sometimes clients come to you and they just need a friend. They just need a friend. They just need someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And she called them rent a friends. And so we were just talking about rent a friends and how um, sometimes you kind of boundaries get kind of skewed and blurred, and all of that. And so you just kind of share something. I'll tell you how I deal with it, because we learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when you're, you know, having these relationship with the clients, you feel like you you express that caring nature to them so they can engage and feel comfortable, and then you try to be yourself. Also, just having that therapeutic alliances. And sometimes I guess I get stuck in my head on the technical side of like, okay, the end results. I want them to, mirror those neurons in their brains to have that right attachment,
Mm-hmm.
that we can influence and do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So where then for me is like, where do you cross the line of stopping where the professional, you know, is not overdoing the friendship? But because they still consider in their head
Mm-hmm.
that this, the relationship is deep, and they can't help but sometimes think, okay, this is a friendship type of relationship that's going on in their head.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not clearly say that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's there. So
Mhm.
where do you stop the line as professionals, not to get them blurred,
Mm-hmm.
and still have them engaged, but be personable and be real with them, but then keep it that professionality that you need,
Mm-hmm.
so they will listen to you when you do, actual therapy with them, or
Mm-hmm.
suggestions, or say, hey, let's do your journaling, and
Mm-hmm.
just having that um, that influence,
Mhm.
still a
Mhm.
professional influence.
Yeah, I think it is hard. I'm trying to think of a situation, but with what you've described, I think probably what I would do is I would probably put some space in the relationship. So maybe I am not able to keep the appointment that week, just so that
That's good.
I'm not available this week. And so it's kind of like
That's good.
resetting the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I might make sure that I have a client schedule right after them, so that there's no overlap of talking and banter and all of that.
That's good. That's good.
I might even run 5 minutes late.
That's good.
I might run 5 minutes late, because again, it's um, narrowing that window of bantering and just whatever it is, just
Right.
all of that.
Right.
And then I might come up with something like rules for for clients. You know, um, clients will not use profanity, and they will do this, and they will not do this. So just a list,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a reminder too that I am a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
that reinforces your therapeutic role
Mm-hmm.
to them, because it lets them know in a subtle way that you are still a client,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the rules that I
Mhm.
have of client professional relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of at work too. I don't know if that
No, that helps.
helps.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
helps a lot.
yeah.
That helps a lot to to distance yourself in moments where, you know, that interaction of just being relaxed and just
Mhm.
not noticing yourself spilling into
Mhm.
that role.
Yeah, because you don't want them to rely on you.
Mhm.
You want that post traumatic growth.
Mhm.
You want to see them grow.
Mhm.
You know, it's not for them to latch on to us. I mean, they may need that initially in the beginning,
Mhm.
um, but we want to encourage them. It's just like, you know, when a child leaves home for college, you know, and if they have spent so much time at home and under the parents, then they don't know how to function in the real world.
Mhm.
You know, and sometimes this happens with children who are homeschooled. They don't have that real life experience. One of the things that I always said with my daughter, and from the beginning, number one was I want to raise a real child, and the other thing was I want a daughter who is comfortable in a crack house or the White House. What do I mean by that? Because I needed to raise a child who could navigate any circumstance. If it was a crack house and people there that she, you know, had to deal with, or that type of person, or a type of person that would be in the White House and, you know, mixing and mingling in that arena. She needed to be able to navigate life, in other words, no matter who she met. And so I say that because we don't want to stunt someone's growth and just have them, you know, around a certain type of people. We don't want our clients to be so reliant on us that they don't know how to navigate life.
Right.
Because that's not reality.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you can live in a gated community and, you know, have security and whatever, but you're still vulnerable. You still have to relate to people, and you have to learn how to do that. And so our jobs, I feel, as therapists, are to help people navigate life. Because what happened to them was traumatic. You know, nothing should have like that should have happened for them. There is life after that. So we guide them as best we can without them, you know, attaching. Because if they attach to us like that, guess what? They're gonna start attaching to other people. Oh, I like them. This reminds me of my counselor, and let me attach to them. And guess what? That person may not have the boundaries that we have as counselors, and so there they are, just running off with that person, and we don't want that.
Right.
We don't want that. I don't know if that makes sense. I kind of rambled there.
No, that was good. That was good. I think the part about navigating through different situations and different people is so important, because I think that's half of mostly our clients, they don't understand how to navigate through life of relationships. And that's what life is about, is relationships. And if you can't function at home because you're having relationship trouble, if you can't function at work because you're having a relationship problem, it goes everywhere. So understanding that a person, just like you said, your daughter from the White House to the crack house, is just that metaphor of every person, you know, to deal with, how to deal with it, and how to, you know, be themselves regardless, or, you know, pull back a certain way, or to give more, and understand the nuance of different people. And, you know, that's awesome. I think that's really good.
I, as a trauma therapist, prefer not to have long-term clients. My goal is to have clients, because God has given me a gift of healing, and so to go in, get to the root of the issue, and either send them back to their therapist or just start weaning them off the therapeutic process. It's not to have long-term clients, but, you know, as I've said, I do have probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 like one or two friends who've been long-term clients. And it's okay, because I can still see, because I like seeing progress. But I can see progress with these clients. It's just a slower process.
I think
And
that-
then, for me, it's like, okay, I want them to do, but it's not about me.
Right.
So sometimes I have to check myself and go, wait a minute, it's not about me, it's about their process and how they're processing the trauma. So yeah, I am seeing some progress even after they've been in therapy with me for like 3 years with Renter Friends.
I think that's good that you mentioned that, because that's important to know, because, we're supposed to meet them
Where they are.
where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And just like how God would meet them
Yeah,
where they're at.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes it is. It's little progress, and it's
Mhm.
pushing and moving, helping them to realize you're making a step forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's make another step here.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be slow,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, those are the most challenging sometimes for me, because, I've heard the stories over and over again. I know the life, I know the names, I know all of those things, and I get sleepy.
What do you mean? What do you mean you get sleepy?
I get sleepy when I'm listening to Renter Friends. I get really sleepy, Joan.
No.
I get really sleepy. So that is a challenge. So
Okay.
I'm fidgeting,
Mhm.
I'm moving, I'm getting my water, I'm doing
Mhm.
something. I turn off my heat, or whatever, something. But I have to move, because the Renter Friend sometimes will put you to sleep. It's true.
But do you find that's something in you that
Maybe I just needed a nap that day anyway. But I'm telling you, when I'm really working on trauma,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hitting. It's
Right, right.
it's moving, and it's moving
Right.
through, and you see that it's very
Right.
easy to engage. But
Right.
if you listen to the same story, it's like the same story over and over again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like a bedtime story as you read for a child. They're gonna go to sleep with that same story because that's what they're used to.
Right.
So it just makes me sleepy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the reality of Renter Friend. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think you covered it all.
No Renter Friends for me, no more, please.